Awesome. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Awesome. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of flying, getting back into P3D because, of course, I'm hyped about Microsoft Flight Sim. So I'll be flying that when that comes out. Just want to go over a few things. I'm not really making this as a tutorial, but I will explain what I'm doing so you can learn from it. So first things first, we need to plan a flight. Delta 2277, we're going to fly offline. Less stress that way. We're going to fly down to Portland. Got my plane set up, 737-900 with the flight number and everything like that. You can set your departure time if you want to. I don't worry about that. Let's see. Let it pick the runways. Pretty much let it pick everything. You know, I let all these settings stay normal. It's always worked for me. You can always add more fuel if you are planning a VATSIM event or something like that. So yeah, we'll accept the route. Check and see what other routes there are. Not much of a difference. All right. Save this flight. Generate it. Got about that. Sim brief downloader. This will download for Active Sky. And the flight plan for the plane and the weather for the plane. Close that out. This tool is amazing. Did I just I did. Okay, there we go. Dispatch system. My briefing. There we go. So then we can come in. Sim Toolkit Pro is free and it's amazing in every way. You know, you get a live map of what you're doing. You can look at VATSIM, all that. You can put your planes that you fly in here, and the logs that, landing report data. You can see where you've landed. This has actually made me better. But it's also got tools. I can't think properly and compass degrees. I have no idea why. It really messes with my head. So let's see. We don't want that one. I have to though. Anyway, go over here. Latest sim brief, OFP. Gonna copy that and hit fly now. Then I'm going to smart cars for my virtual airline. Create. Cruise altitude is going to be 290. CYVR-KPDX. Oops. 737-300. 900. Paste the route. I have flyvirtual.net is the one that I fly with because they let you fly anything at any time for any reason. So we'll click fly on that. Let's see. 0 fuel weight. PMDG, if you go to your payload and type in a 0 fuel weight of 141.2, it'll automatically populate everything else for you. How many passengers, cargo, all of that. Operations, 140 passengers. That way you can skip the math and start. There we go. That's done. Bring that down. This is FS2 crew. We'll get him started.
Let's get set up.
All right. Also need to do the fuel. Block fuel is 13524. Awesome. Get some catering to come in. Pretty much everything else we can do from right in here. Just gonna double check that the all right. Yep. It says unknown phase. Let me see if I can fix that. This is unknown. Fixed phase. Free flight. There we go. Should fix that issue. It's gonna need a calculator. So for my reserves, I add the final reserve fuel and the alternate. That's gonna give me my reserve. I used to just put the reserves in, but then it made sense that I might want a warning when I'm about to start my alternate fuel. So there's that.
I'm out for the walk around.
We'll get these doors open. There we go. Very nice. Now we can get around to doing the real deal. CYVR. Then you hit the next page, grab the GPS position off of your aircraft GPS, put that there. If you typed in the wrong airport here, it would let you know there's a mismatch. As far as if you said that you were at a different airport, it'll let you know that you messed up somewhere. But a route, if we type this in like this, it'll narrow down what it finds in the request. So there, it found the flight that I needed. Select that. Actually looks like we're gonna get the rain is gonna be kind of nice. CYVR. Light rain. It's been nothing but beautiful weather in these flights lately. Load that up. Pull up the charts here. Yeah, we'll just do 08, right? We can handle it. Activate. Departure, 08, right? Toolkit. Scroll down. Where's it at? Right here. Hold on. They want the doors closed. So it just wants us to do direct routing. Execute arrival. We're expecting 10 right. 10 right. LN6. C transition. Execute. That's done. I'll check the legs real quick. Pull that up. Switch this over to plan, PLN. Make sure it all works out. Yep. It will. We get vectors. Yep. That works for me. Init ref. I always request this even though I end up changing everything. So that's going to be 290. 7.4 on the reserves. Sim brief has the cost index up here of 48. And the cruise winds, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but I've been putting the average wind in there. 276 at 08. 28, I mean. Okay. Now I need to go to the performance calculator. We'll go weight and balance, fuel.
Hi,
We need to put
here are
in
some
our
water bottles for you. The
trip
security and
fuel.
safety checks are complete. Are we okay to start boarding?
Go for it. Go for it.
Thanks. Clear to board.
Five, 2, 3, 7. Something's not right. It doesn't like that for some reason. Why? There we go. It didn't import properly. That's good. Complete that. Airport C. YVR. Runway
Okay, I'm back from the walk around.
right.
Everything looks
Wet
good.
runway. Get active sky. Grab that. 190 at 7. One nine zero at 7. 17. 3017. 18. And I'm an idiot. Okay. I accidentally hit the wrong thing. So performance takeoff, make sure you're in the right spot. My short-term memory sucks. 1907. 17. 3018. Let's see if it'll let us do that. AC is on, anti-ice is off. Hide this keyboard. Yep, it'll work. So the way you make that happen in here, you go over here. This, I guess we're not taking a rated temperature, so we'll just do takeoff 2. 94.1, 94.1 here. Flap 1 takeoff, go over here. Flaps 1, look here for center of gravity. Go to the next page, page 2 out of 2. And then you put the 190 at 7. You don't need to worry about the slope or anything else because we don't have slope runways in P3D. Excel height and stuff, this is how you change the acceleration. I think that is to deal with noise abatement procedures, things like that. 154. a little off. Usually, it's really spot on. What's different today? Oh, that's what happened. You notice, okay, let me go back and show you what happened. It doesn't have the takeoff weight in here. So you just go back to your weight and balance, hit complete. Boom. Now you calculate it. Yeah, there we go. So, we'll try takeoff 1. Yeah, it'll be takeoff 1. So takeoff 1, 36 on the temp. Takeoff flaps 5. There we go. We got the wind. No. Still a little off. But not by much. Only the V1 speed is a little off. But the gross weight now matches the gross weight down here. Almost completely, so. I bet you if we do this. Or, I bet you if we changed it, that'll be the deal. Anyway, we're good here with those. I always forget to do the winds, so at this point is when I do the winds. You take this off of step mode, put it back to map, route data, request. GSX has been wanting to know. I'll just at 111 since that kind of makes the timer go a little slower. I mean a little faster. So do that one, that one, that one, and that one. My biggest annoyance of GSX when it estimates passengers is it just estimates way too many. And then you're loading cargo forever. So load the winds, execute, click descent over here, go to forecast, request these winds. Load those winds. Execute, init ref. It doesn't like some of the speeds, but 300 at crater. We don't need to be doing 300 at crater, so we'll see if it'll take that. We'll worry about that later. That's done. So now, pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Tested 100%. Navigation transfer and display switches. Normal, auto. Window heat, on. Pressurization mode selector, auto. Flight instruments.
Heading 137, altimeter 3018.
Heading 137, altimeter 3018. Parking brake.
Set.
Engine start levers.
Cut off.
Pre-flight checklist complete.
Okay. Take a quick pop outside. You get to see the baggage loading. Most people are familiar with GSX by now. Alright. So we're going to get everything set up. V2 is 155. If you look at a map, so I was always confused about runway numbers. So the general rule of thumb is you can just add a 0 at the end and it'll be close enough. So 08 would be 080, 13 would be 130, But if you have a chart, you can see that it's actually 083, it's actually 125, things like that. So we're going to put 083. I'm going to set the courses to 083 as well, in case we have a failure or something and we need an ILS back to the runway. So for that, you can check the approach 08 right ILS. Right here, it tells you the localizer. IVR is the little information. It'll pop up right here. Let me go back. So this is the frequency you need to tune, and this is the final approach course you need to put in. So 1095. 1095. Pop those over. Close the doors. Done with that. Flight director's on. Auto throttle on. VNav. Maybe it doesn't want us to do that right now. 290. Been having a problem with, I'm sorry, LNAV. I'm sure it's just something I'm missing because I'm still new to all this, but I mean, our flight path is going to take us out, so I should be able to set it and be done with it. It's not a big deal. Okay, that's all set up. That's pretty much it. That's aircraft complete. We are ready to rock. And that's perfect timing, because at 9 minutes you're supposed to run the departure brief. So we are derated with assumed temp, flaps 5. We can double check. Our maximum landing weight is this. Our estimated is this, so we are under our landing weight. It's not going to be a crew change, it'll be the same crew, because I've been flying all day. Noise abatement procedures, I don't even worry about it. I just let the default stuff go. I'm still a little uncertain about that. I understand that there's supposed to be like something in the chart somewhere that talks about noise abatement. Here we go. So let's see. 1 or 2 required for all runways. Let's see if I can understand any of this at all. I don't know what noise abatement 1 or 2 is. I'm guessing that has to do with Excel height. Whatever. We'll pretend that we know what we're talking about. I don't think weather's a concern, but we should brief about it. And here we go.
Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's going to be a standard pushback and start off from the gate. Taxi route will be assigned by ATC. It'll be a left seat takeoff, using derated thrust with an assumed temperature. Planning a flaps 5 takeoff. Anti-ice will be off. Standard reject actions to V1 as briefed. From V1, or if the call is continued, I will continue the takeoff as per the standard company procedures. The engine out procedure today is per the chart. We are under our maximum landing weight, so we are okay to make an immediate return. All going well. The departure routing will be via the ATC assigned SID, complying with all published speed and altitude restrictions. We'll use noise abatement departure procedure 1. VNav is armed. Flight directors are on. Mine is master, yours is slave. Navigation radios are set. The NOTAMs and the aircraft defect log have been reviewed. The current weather poses a threat. We won't rush any procedures today. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
None.
Departure brief complete.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
Alright, so that's done.
Hi, the passengers are seated.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks. Before start procedure.
Check.
Electronic devices, you can make sure that they are in the airplane mode so you're no longer sending or receiving any wireless signals.
Need to set
Hello,
trim.
Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Trim set. Before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Flight deck door closed and locked. MCP.
Set and check.
Takeoff speeds.
Locking
Set
gear.
and check.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron trim.
Free and 0.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Anti-collision light on. Before start checklist complete.
Departure check completed. Bypass bin
Start
inserted.
sequence is 2 then 1.
Release parking
Check.
brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Start engine 2.
Starting 2.
Gotta wait till we get rotation up to 25. Watching cockpit videos from real 737 pilots, they say that the earliest they're allowed to do it is 20, but they wait till 25. Unless 777, I mean, it's all automated, so you don't have to wait. Which I started in a 777, so coming down to this plane was so much more work. I'm so glad for FS2 crew. Hop in the fuel, and then we'll rinse repeat for number 1 after we hear the cutout.
Starter cutout.
Start engine 1.
Starting 1.
We now request your full attention as the flight attendants demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. When the seatbelt sign illuminates, you can fasten
Set
your
parking
seatbelt.
brakes.
Insert the flat metal clip in the buckle.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion
We've
of the
got
buckle.
one engine going, so
Please
that's
adjust
good
and
enough
keep
for
your
me.
seatbelt fastened throughout the flight, as we may experience turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft, 2 forward, 2 aft, and 2 over each wing. Please take a moment to locate the exit nearest you. In some cases, the exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. Doors can be opened by moving the handle in the direction of the arrow. Each door is equipped with an inflatable slide, which raises
Unlocking gear.
and uses a life raft. Oxygen and air pressures are always being monitored. In the event of a decompression,
Tow truck
oxygen
disconnected.
mask will
Bypass
automatically
bin
appear in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth and secure the elastic band behind your head and breathe normally.
Starter
Although
cutout.
the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist that other person. Keep your mask on until an uniformed crew member advises you to remove it. In the event of an emergency,
Left is clear.
please assume the
Right
brace
is clear.
position. Lean forward with your hands on top of your head and your elbows against your thighs. Ensure your feet are flat on the floor. A life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head.
Flaps 5.
Press the straps around
Flaps
your waist
5.
and adjust it to the front. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when leaving the aircraft. If you need to refill the vest, blow into the mouthpiece. Use the whistle and light to attract attention. Also,
Like a
your
field
seat
check
bottom
complete.
cushion can be used as a flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, flip your arms to the straps and hug the cushion to your chest. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with,
This is
disabling,
a
or
little
destroying the smoke
reminder
detectors located in
for
the
pilots
laboratories
to
prohibited
remember
by
your
law.
flight number.
You will find this and all other safety information in the card located in the seat pocket in front of you. We
Before
strongly
taxi
suggest you read it
checklist.
before takeoff.
Before
If you have any
taxi
questions,
checklist,
please don't hesitate to ask
generators
one of our crew
on,
members.
road
We
gate
wish you
on,
all an
anti-ice
enjoyable flight.
off, isolation valve auto, engine start switches auto,
I don't.
recall
Check.
checked, auto brake, RTO, engine start levers,
Idle D10.
flight controls,
Check.
ground equipment,
Clear.
clear. Before taxi checklist complete.
Alright. So maximum taxi speed, you can see your ground speed down here. You can do up to 30 ground speed. My throttle is a little twitchy. It's an old CH Pro throttle. So I just set the throttle up to about 25 like I did. You can see that over here. And then I use the brakes to manage my speed if I get a little too fast. And I was watching a wet taxi in a 737, and the pilots were talking about the nose wheel slipping. So I don't know if that's modeled in here. It feels like it. If you try to take a turn fast enough, you just won't turn. Coming up on runway 13 here. Confirmed to cross runway 13. Cleared to cross runway 13.
Thanks. See you up there.
This is the problem. If you don't say the exact words that it's looking for, it doesn't catch it, which I think is a little ridiculous. Confirm, cleared to cross runway 13.
Affirm, cleared to cross.
Clear left.
Clear right.
Now, I personally don't fly with AI. Every now and then I'll do VATSIM, but right now I'm just trying to get my confidence up in the aircraft and get practice in. So I did do VATSIM on, what was it? Early last week. It was pretty cool. I've done it before, but I'm out of practice. So it always makes me nervous. And then I got sick. So I've been sick for the last few days and
Flight deck.
just finally feeling good enough to get into the plane.
Okay, thanks. Captain, the cabin is secure.
Luckily though, it wasn't COVID, even though it felt like it. Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
5 green light,
Stabilizer trim.
set and check.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Not the best taxi in the world. Alright, so we're just gonna check, make sure that the stream is working. Open that up. Well, that is blurry on my end. Hopefully it's not blurry for you. There we go. Okay, so we got all of that. Everything seems to be working. So we will minimize that. We don't need any of that. Runway entry procedure.
Check. Cabin crew, take your seats.
Clear left.
Clear right. Ready to go.
So after a while, you just memorize what you're supposed to do and when. So even with FS2 crew, I don't even need to look at the chart, even though it's on my pad over there, on the EFB in the cockpit. There's a twitchy throttle I was telling you about. Alright, forward pressure on the yoke. Up to 40. Takeoff.
Check.
N1 Toga.
Check. Thrust set. $80 knots.
Check.
V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Feet.
Another thing I didn't know is you just wait. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to fly and fly it because I want practice. There you go. That's me being sick getting to me. But once we hit the XL height, that's when it'll bug up, which it did. Flaps 1. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Flaps up.
Speed checked. Flaps up.
After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds. On. Packs. Auto. Landing gear. Up and off. Flaps. Up. No lights. After takeoff checklist complete.
So at about 400 feet, you can put it on autopilot, or 1,000 feet. It all depends on the airline. Personally, I'm hand flying up to 10,000 just because I want the practice. And what you're seeing me trying to do there is trim wheel. Now I've got a trim wheel set, button set for it, but it doesn't move it very fast. Let me see. Yeah, it does it like 1, which wasn't fast enough. So when you take off, you're set for takeoff trim. And it makes you have to push a lot on the yoke. And I'm trying to fly the flight directors here, but also you got to manage your speed with pitch. So I'm pitching higher to keep myself under 250 because I don't want to break the speed restriction till 10,000. So we're coming up on 10,000. We're going to hit Command A.
10,000.
And let the autopilot do its thing. We had some nasty turbulence a little bit
Happy to release
coming
the
out,
cabin.
but that was good. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
So now we just start checking up on where we're at. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a hop. But you can see top of climb and top of descent are really close together. So what we're going to do, we're going to prep our performance for landing already, show landing. It is going to be KPDX. And let's just double check the winds. So this is where this tool comes in handy for people like me who are just challenged. All right. I don't know why I can't think in the, I think I wanted to land on 10 right. That's not gonna work. Let me look at the chart real quick. I mean, that would work. It's not the end of the world, but this taxi airport info. All right, so 28 left. That's better. So we'll land on 28 left. We'll change it. Archer arrival, ILS 28 left. LN6. And we need to go back here. That was supposed to be the Helen 6 C transition. Execute. Double check to make sure that didn't break anything. That on ground. No, we're good. And we'll get vectored in. Over here, runways, okay, left, grab active sky, KPDX, no precipitation reported, Uriah, 340 and 6, 26, 30.10, 30, on, off, calculate.
Transition altitude set standard.
Also make sure you're on the en route page. Making mistakes here because I'm trying to show off, I guess. None for non-normal procedures. What am I missing? No credit, calculate. That'll work. Hit tells you how much landing distance you need and how much is available. In the real world, you would try to match up with, turnoffs. So I'm not worried about that. So if you wanted to turn off here, you'd want to use a certain auto brake, so you'd, naturally get to that point. Anyway. So 28 right approach is going to change our pre-planning 1113. 1113. Swap that over. Final approach course 283. Alright, that's good. Turn this off planning mode. Try to match the direction you're going. That way, if ATC has to give you a heading, you can get there quicker. Make sure you hit standard when you go through 18. Alright. So VREF add 5. It says we're going to land with 1489. Gives us 144, you add 5, that gives you 149. So, I didn't know how any of this worked. It's not the end of the world if you just use the number that was here. Just the way this is how they do it for real, I guess. Also, your ILS information is right here, just in case you need it. Always good to verify with the chart. Now, here's an interesting thing. Right here, we've got a line through it in yellow. I don't know what that means. Last time I saw it, I wasn't able to capture the ILS, so it'll be interesting. I was getting a glide path and what other system it was, so I guess something we can do really quick here is just check it. So I really hate this thing. I hate their map. I can't wait for the new fucking thing. Oh, that's not where I'm landing. Hold on. Yeah, there's Seattle. The only other thing I can think of is that the ILS is not properly in the simulator for the default airport. ILS. Yeah. So once again, we might have to change this out. 28 right. Alright. Just because the sim is being a certain way. Oh wait, no, that was my bad, I think. 110.5. It's not my bad. It's the sim. Okay. So just to clarify what happened, the sim doesn't appear to have an ILS setting for 28 left at this airport, even though the charts clearly say there's an ILS. So we double checked the airport and it said there's one for 28 right. So we're gonna take 28 right. It's my understanding that if I would have tried 28 left, that's probably what's happening. It's following the computer waypoints. It'll follow the computer waypoints down to the runway, but it won't do an actual ILS. It mimics an ILS, but it isn't. That's my technical terminology, since I'm not a pilot. So, as we get closer, once we get to top of climb, I'll have us start preparing for the descent. And P3D had a good run. I bought this when they were going to have the update. So when it comes out for the new flight sim, I'll have a $100 coupon for it. I'm just blown away by what the new simulator offers, and I think anybody that's not on board with it has no idea what they're talking about. It can be anything from a arcade game for controllers to full-on flight sim, especially once the third-party stuff comes in. And it's just unreal. Of course, you know, the handcrafted areas and the places with more data are going to look so much better, but just being able to go over your own town and see roads and streets that actually exist, even though it's not 100% perfect or high quality, it's awesome. So what was happening here is it said that we were not going to be able to do 300 at this waypoint, so I just said 300 and below. But what we might actually do here is change this to 250 and 10,100. Just so we don't break the 10,000 speed restriction. 10,000. Under 10,000, you can't fly over 250. It's not allowed. So we're going to try that and see if we get any other issues, descent issues, stuff like that. Hopefully not. That should take care of any issues there. So there's just minor things that you have to do. And honestly, the way I tackled learning to fly this stuff is I had one guy teach me. Then from there on out, I just made notes. Every flight that I didn't know something, made a note. And then after the flight, I went and watched videos. Flight Deck 2 Sim is really good. And it's great. Even him with his Zebo mod now, instead of the PMDG, you can still use what he tells you. Alright, so we're there. Let's start setting up for the descent. Let's start setting up for the descent.
Check.
So he'll start doing his flows. I've pretty much done all of my flows. Now we'll just do the briefing. You can see the minimums. DA, this first one's for baro, this one's for radio. So 283 on radio. .283. On a chart, it always tells you the missed approach here. It's also going to be programmed in the FMC, so I'm going to put 2100 as the initial. And the final approach fixed altitude, I don't know what the official deal is for that. I put 500 because, well, actually, we get really low. I'm going to put 1,000. This is where the FO calls out if you got all this stuff set up, like your missed approach altitude, things like that. Star, it's actually going to be vectors, ILS, all that, auto brake 3, all that, good. So, with this, you gotta set this up, which I didn't. I was supposed to set this up before telling him to prep for the descent, so you can see auto brake is wrong. I'm just going to double check that he's got the altitude right. He's got the altitude right. If you get a warning here, you can change this and fix it. Let's see, we're going to go back to the airport info. Airport elevation is 31, so 0 is pretty close. We'll let it be at 0, because otherwise it has to be 50. Alright, there's that. We are going to drop this to the next flight there, P62.
Are you ready for the approach brief?
Okay.
The arrival routing will be via ATC assigned vectors. For an ILS approach, planning a flaps 30 landing. VREF is 145. Final approach fixed altitude is 1000 feet. Decision altitude is 283 feet. Missed approach altitude is 2100 feet. Taxi route in will be assigned by ATC. Will be arriving at a gate. Descent speeds and navigation radios are set. Airport NOTAMs have been reviewed. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
None.
Approach brief complete.
Awesome. Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Pressurization. Landing altitude is 0 feet. Recall checked. Auto brake. RTO. Landing data.
Set and check.
Approach briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist complete.
So that's a little bug. He always says RTO at this point. I don't know why he says RTO. Even if I set it up properly and he sets it. He set it to auto brake too. But he always says RTO. So I ignore it. Alright, let's see. Pressure is going to be 3010. Everything seems about the same. No major changes in wind or anything like that. Alright, we're going to be good to go. Airport map when we get there. Alright, there's that. And then something that I learned from Flight Deck 2 Sims videos is aids to help you. So 4 miles you should be fully established. 10 miles you should be at flaps 1. Lets you know how to bring yourself in when you're new, because otherwise you're just guessing. And what that does, let's step through this real quick. So you get a ring with 4 and a ring with 10, and that lets you know the distance. Continue this down to 10,100. Keep that plugged properly. I don't think we're going to have any issues with weather or terrain here, but we'll turn those on. Just realized I never loaded my flight plan in Active Sky. Oops. It is now. We got the altimeter set. So, guess we could go outside and have a view. Apologize for the audio cutouts. That's just something that happens when it lost focus. And even if you change the setting, it still loses some audio. So, it doesn't annoy me per se, but it might annoy some other people. Nice descent. You can see the flickering on that mountain. And this is Orbix. This is all Orbix scenery. I brought the global, and then I've got the Pacific Northwest. Active sky for for the weather. Wrecked textures for runway and clouds. And it looks pretty good, but then Microsoft Flight Sim came along and they're like blowing people's minds with realism. So it's kind of crazy. So right now, when you're on a descent like this, the 737's really good at flying its own descents. Every now and then you'll have to do drag, or at this last part here when we're doing the vectors, we'll probably manually fly the descent with vertical speed.
Transition.
Not paying attention. Approach checklist.
Altimeters.
3010 set.
3010 set. Approach checklist complete.
So when you're looking at the terrain display, it tells you the different terrain levels. So the really high spots are going to be 8,200. The lower spots are going to be like 4,100. And if it's different colors, it'll be different colors and displayed in different colors. Like, we got to watch out for that. We don't want to run into that. That's actually smoking. Let's get on the ground before it goes off. Alright. Excuse me. So we're going to have to pay attention here. Put it at 10,100 so it level off before we got low, and then we can level off and slow down. And then start descent again, since we've got enough for the next waypoint.
$1,000 low.
Well, we might have to help it along. We'll see how it handles slowing down. It'll pop up drag required. It just needs a little help. Pull that speed brake out until it gets down to the proper speed. Since we don't have weather to worry about, we'll pull terrain over to this side. But we can see everything, so it's not that bad. Pop that speed brake down, we're pretty much right on the money for speed. We'll do speed intervention real quick, drop it down to 40, 240. And we'll drop down here. See 6,000, so we'll drop it down to 6,000. Pop the speed window off. That's the speed intervention button right there. We'll hit this waypoint and then we'll start descending.
10,000.
This arc here is telling us how far it's going to take to get down to altitude. So
Cabin crew, prepare for
everything's
landing.
looking good. Just double check on the stream one more time. Make sure that everything's looking good. This is my first time using any of this stuff here. Yep. So it's looking good. There we go. Give me my audio back, please. Yeah, so once we turn for the vector, that's when we'll go heading select, and I'll manually get the descent rolling until I'm comfortable and then turn in. Or ATC would vector you and all that. Let's begin with the terrain. Radar only goes in a certain arc, so there, it refreshes. Scenery is not horrible, but it's not Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. we're flying in real time and real weather right now as well. So it's going to be 7:04 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry, not Central Time. Pacific. It's 9:05 Central Time right now. Get going. Very smooth.
$1,011.
All right. Pop that over to 110, heading select. We need to be at 2900 or above. And that way. But we also got terrain to worry about here. So we need to be careful. Pop that up in there since we're not going to fly to it. Nice easy descent down. Not really worried about the speed right now, we're worried about getting down. Got it just about lined up so we can just make that right turn and capture that on localizer.
Flight deck. Okay, thanks. Captain, the cabin is secure.
There's the airport. Little one right here. Got that weird graphical glitch. You can see now 11,200 right in front of us. A little bit closer. Now we got higher terrain. All that should be a non-factor though.
1011.
So plan is to drop flaps, maybe 1 or 2, and get some drag when we make our turn. And flaps 5, get on the localizer, wait till 4, and then we'll be down floating 3 by 4. See that we can't extend out this way for too long, but just long enough to get on that ILS.
Radio altimeter alive. Cabin crew, take your seats.
Alright, we're going to turn this bird around. Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Light slope alive. Flaps 2.
Now that we did that, we get VRR, localizer, and glide slope. That's good. That means that we're going to capture it eventually. Let's see how that changes.
Outer marker. Height checked. This approach altitude is not set.
Flaps 5.
Speed checked. Flaps 5.
Excuse my dog. He likes to bark at the neighbors. Land into the sunlight, that'll be fun. Alright, as you can see, we captured the localizer,
alive.
captured the glide slope. Now, single CH, everything's set. We're all good to go. We set this to most approach. There's that. Heading, we'll match it with our course in case we have to go around on runway heading. Now we'll keep bugging the speed down. Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 15.
Speed checked. Flaps 15.
Flaps 30.
Speed checked. Flaps 30.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Speed brake.
Arm.
Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
30. Green light.
Landing checklist complete.
I have
1,000.
control.
You have control.
Cleared.
Check.
I'm saying cleared to him. He knows that I'm cleared to land.
Feet.
400. Approaching minimums.
Landing.
Check.
Minimums.
Approach lights.
Flight slow. Flight slow. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Auto brake disarmed. Speed brake up. Reversers normal. .60 knots.
Okay to clean up.
Check.
Okay to clean up.
Check.
So that didn't go exactly to plan there. I accidentally hit my toe brakes, which turned off the auto brake. And that's why the takeoff roll, the landing roll was so bad. Also, I have such a problem with my brakes. I don't think they're calibrated properly. It feels like it gets so much pull that shouldn't be there when I touch them down. So, apologize for the bad landing. Also, because my throttle, I don't have it synced to controls when I'm in autopilot. I always push it up and then pull it back to make sure that it goes off. And so that's why you might have heard the config warning or whatever like that. See, just like that, it kicked off on its own. And that's just the problem with things that use potentiometers. Sometimes they just start going bad. Lights and doors.
Check. Cabin crew, disarm doors and cross-check. Doors disarmed, APU on the bus.
You can cheat a little bit. There we go.
We're not at 3 minutes yet.
So we'll just hold tight. We need 3-minute cooldown on the engines before we shut them off. You can see how crappy we did real quick. Not too bad. 229. Touchdown right there. All the extra information that anybody would desire. And that's that. So with this one, flight summary, complete flight. And sometimes I type up something here. So let's see. Ham fluid departure.
3 minutes.
10K. Landing streamed to YouTube. And that way I can always look at those comments later if I want to. That flight's complete, but then I can look at a flight like this, look at my comments, and that's pretty much that. So we just got the 3-minute warning. Cut off the fuel. Smart cards, we can finish and see what happened. They'd even give me a better FPM here. File pirate. There's that. Shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps, off. Probe heat, auto. Hydraulic panel, set. Flaps.
Off. Up.
Parking brake.
Set.
Engine start levers,
Cut off.
weather radar.
Off.
Off. Shutdown checklist complete.
There you go. Now this plane is ready to go back into the air. And I might go do another flight. But for now, we're going to shut this one down. Hopefully there's some information in here that helped you. But catch you next time.